CT side too. So moving into this, they can hopefully get a little bit of a head start themselves. This is where your T side wants to get that early sharp edge. Already taking some early damage. Shot to the front and back. Nothing goes down. It doesn't seem like it's traded until Def on top of the bomb train is able to peel one off. It's a 3-4 disadvantage. Large one at that because Stanislaw is walking wounded at 5 HP. He's actually got one. He had 3 players bearing down on him, and it's Ricky alone, 1v2. He's got the kit as well, 2 flashbangs to work in, but he is cruising right ahead, looking for a fight.
Yeah, not too difficult with the USP, just 2 headshots. Doesn't sound too hard, but when they PQ us 2, it's going to be very difficult indeed. This will lock it down, and oh wow, Fnatic made that very, very tough to recover for Complexity. They did their best. I really liked how much time Def was buying for his team around the bomb train. I thought that really did give them a chance. It gave Ricky a 1v2, always doable, but couldn't close it down. And now we have an amazing situation for Fnatic. It's so much confidence on train. When you start that T side with all the money, you've denied the CTs, that quick AWP, which can suddenly become very problematic and shut down your options very quickly.
Yeah, it can. So that's what I was talking about. Who gets the sharper edge early in the T side? Just getting that early round before the CTs are able to get their wheels turning and the wheels are spinning right now. So they'll have to bow down, I think, for 1 round, and then they'll be able to come back into the 3rd round when they get themselves some rifles. But at that point, Fnatic will be able to as well bolster their economy with some AKs and possibly a little bit more than that. The T side, the AWP isn't as crucial. The CT side is one of those, well, can Complexity wield 2 AWPs on this map? Because a lot of times the default to train CT side is you need to be a team, if you want to be successful on train, is to be able to have capability of 2.
Yeah, and it's really interesting as far as the T side options go when you're facing up against the CT AWP, because if you know they have 1 AWP, well then it's really interesting because you can take some pretty strong gambles. Let's say going upper on B on contact can suddenly be a really good play, but if there's 2 AWPs and you can reliably know there's an AWP, an AWP can very easily shut that down. So it really impacts the movement of the T side greatly, and we do get the save here from Complexity. Nothing out of the ordinary there, just 1 Zeus on Def, so Fnatic should be fine here.
Sure. Complexity just looking for 1 kill or 2, as best as it's going to get. That Zeus in Def's hands is as cheeky as they could possibly get. And yeah, he's hanging out just at this lower ramp. This is a really strong position. It's either here or in ladder room or just on the other side of T-Con. But if they were to wrap around the top side, he wouldn't be able to do much of anything. He'd be shot in the back shortly. Flashbang does cross him. He is close enough. Misses just low and left. The thrower jumps over the prongs from the Zeus, and this is just going to be a cleanup crew for Fnatic.
Yeah, this is a really strong way to play the anti-eco here from Fnatic. You get that, we saw that split with 1 player going lower. It's the lower spot where you're going to have the most trouble, where you're going to have the most even footing against the pistols. So to have 3 players going upper, you really do add a lot of security to that push, and there's not too much you can do against the rifles, especially when it's just USPs. But I like this.
Quad AUG.
Yes, very nice. So it feels very comfortable in terrain.
It does. It does. It really does. It's the perfect hybrid. And for a low cost of an extra decoy grenade, just $50 more, you're set. So you can reach out and touch people. Fnatic would love to be able to get their hands on some of those as well. It'd be just as useful for them. They're going to go quickly on this round, almost treating this round like it's a burner round themselves. They sprinted right into the A side, sticking tight to that wall. They'll trade 1 for 1 right now, but already being so close to cameras, there is nowhere for Ricky to be able to hide. It's 3 AUGs to the likes of 4 Fnatic players.
Very awkward stuff here because Complexity are locked out of the major choke points. Getting through those is going to be pretty difficult. You can see Broadlands just waiting behind the smoke there for Connector, and I suppose San, if he can take control of T-Con and maybe get a kill in the bomber, there might be a chance that Shazam is going to take a lot of attention towards the back lines here. So there might be a chance indeed for Stan to get around, but JW is wary of that flank, and it's all a question of timing here. If he gets taken down, that bomb drops, life could get very awkward very quickly. Well,
there must have been some call. Fnatic got really cold feet coming into that A site. Sure, they just pounced right onto it, but man, they have delayed planting this bomb so long that Complexity have been able to at least maneuver themselves into a position for a quick retake. You got players in the back halls, you got a player in Z, and you've got, of course, Stanislaw making his way through T-Con. There is the spring. It has sprung and Exist is left alone. The bomb is ticking, though, but he's now been smoked off the ladder, and there's not much to do here, especially with the now incredibly nerfed UMP at such a range. Yeah, he's just grasping at straws right now. So it's a full 10-second defuse, I believe. This is going to be quite some time, but I think he's going to call it quits. Climb the ladder, and that will be Complexity's first round.
Yeah, very comfortable retake. I mean, that looked very awkward to begin with. And, you know, perhaps in Fnatic being overly cautious. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, or as Yanko likes to say, everyone's a general after the war. You know, but they slowed it down so much. It gave a lot of time to Complexity to really coordinate that attack and start picking off players before Fnatic got the bomb down and could take post-plant positions. 5 orgs now is there for Complexity, so they start things off pretty quickly. But Fnatic still have some bites in them.
Yeah, 5 orgs against Fnatic. And nothing doesn't like the way this is looking. The flashbang caught him, and he'll start to fall back with the assistance of Ricky out there. And both teams will start to throw the kitchen sink at one another, including a couple extra rounds of 5-5-6. Though you do have one. Looks like Crims has made his way up into the sandwich side, and he's looking to get nothing if he oversteps his bounds. He's pushing the angle now, and he's got him dead to rights. Nothing now knows his jig's up. His teammate gave him the call. That was Ricky really saving the day right there for nothing. Sounded the alarm, and it's a 2-man advantage quickly for Complexity. Right now, Fnatic have just been absolutely stumped on the front lines on entry into the A site.
Nice shot coming back from Twister, but it's a 2 versus 4, making it 1 versus 4 now for JW as he's stuck alone on the outside, and it's going to be very difficult to recover that bomb. There's orbs all over the place. Nice flick, does connect onto Shazam, doesn't get the killing blow though. But I do love the setup from Complexity. They play really far back. They know that there's not really much in the way of grenades. They give up the forward areas, and it seems like they understand this. The way the setup is, we can see that nothing is protected, and it's just enough information at the right times, whilst at the same time not giving Fnatic a way to get picks. So I really think that's a very well tailor-made setup for what Fnatic had coming at them. So Complexity are ready in this one.
Yeah, that round could have gone south so fast, just like that. What a quick shot from JW. He's not hesitating at all. In fact, he'll take 2. Shazam's op goes down. JW on the entries with the quick movements into the B site, just as they've done earlier into the A site. It's 2-2, but it's quickly looking like Fnatic are going to take this 5th round as Complexity are just going to call it quits. Quickly retreating back Ivy and trying to hold on to what rifles they have into the next round. Fnatic could expend a player or 2. I mean, look at Exists and Brolin. They've got pistols. Send them to the Dogs. See if they can at least take one more Complexity player down.
And you love to see that. You just love to see JW getting into the zone like that so early. It just reminds you, gives you flashbacks of JW, in the vintage mode there when we had such a dominant Fnatic, and he was this wild card. You just throw him at anything with an AWP, close range, long range, medium range, just doesn't matter what the situation is. He finds a way to make something happen, and that was a beautifully quick entry kill from him. And I also like the decisiveness coming in from Complexity. They understand, look, we just got to give this one up, and they hold on to as much money as they can. And now it's going to get really interesting because the buy will come back, buy versus buy, and Complexity are in a great position because they've not really tried anything yet. So they could really throw a wrench in the works if they get cheeky in this round. Yeah, that call was really quickly made by Complexity because they actually didn't know that that was a little bit of a weaker buy from Fnatic. They didn't know that Brolin and company had pistols coming in there. JW came in so fast and with such force that Complexity just said, you know what, it's probably full AKs behind that, it's probably a full set, and you know what, let's just roll the dice in the next round anyways. So Complexity now 1 round down on a CT-sided map. This could get out of control on this round because the money for both teams is starting to get really shaky. So if you win this round, you're likely to win the next one on top of that as well. So Fnatic could start to really run away with this, or Complexity could at least start to plug up some of the holes. And we have so many scopes on both teams right now. There's only 2 players on the server without the scope available to them. And we'll see whether or not these double orbs will go well for Complexity. Obviously, Fnatic, they know that Fnatic has the WP, and Shazam's going to take down Brolan, watching out for that angle. Bad timing for Brolan. Very unfortunate for him, but there's still 4 Fnatic members looking to open up alley, it seems, as Ricky holds that down. Run boost across. Ricky spots it, gives it up, smoke down. Just a bit wide right. Ricky was able to slough that one off, but the grenade hits him for 30. That should help out, especially with the Augs now at range. He's got that one-hit capability against him. So he will shelter as Fnatic start to shift themselves and move their pawns around the map, trying to kind of force multiply with the loss of Brolin on that round, this round so far. It'll be 4v, let's say 2 into this B site right now, but they do have the quick rotation with Shazam coming into Z-Connector with an op, which is really classic. And yeah, there's actually no up on the side itself for that initial defense. They're going to have to rely on 2 rifles. So it may be awkward if Fnatic do walk up with at least 1 or 2 players. They will have time here to get some very good engagements, and in they go. Def has a great angle on this one, and he's going to take down 2. And we can see that Fnatic are just struggling to move forwards. Nothing will pick off another one, and that's going to put an end to Fnatic's push. It was plan B, and it really, really did not work out for them. Complexity looks like they're going to bring themselves into quite a strong position now.
Yeah, you saw JW made that quick call too as well to give up the ghost and hold on to his hop in the next round. Like I said, this round had a lot of implications into the following one because Fnatic, it's probably going to look like the round that they won quickly as well before with JW on the op on that good spawn that he had. So you might see an AK or 2 come up behind him. Possibly not. Depends how much reservation Fnatic has moving against Complexity here, because it's still going to be a double op for Complexity. They're still very comfortable. That was a healthy round win for them, keeping 4 alive.
So as we sort of predicted, we've got a pretty close game on our hands to begin with, although it does look like Complexity are starting to pull away. But as you mentioned here, there's still enough money in the tank for Fnatic to get a buy going, and they have full nades pretty much. Just a deagle don't exist. Otherwise, it looks very healthy indeed. But
yeah, it's not bad. A lot better than I thought it was actually going to be.
They're going with a new approach. They're going for that alley control early this time.
Well, Complexity have been respecting some Ivy, but it's been quite some time since Fnatic has been over there. We saw that run boost over there, but it was really just skirmishy before Fnatic bailed out of that position, went back towards the B side. So now they're going to sink their teeth into this one a little bit harder. Complexity are going to see that there are grenades heading that direction too, but still nobody's on that side of the map. Nice shot from Stanislaw, was made looking very easy. Crims came down that ladder and slowly crawled his way back up. So there's a freebie handed the way to Complexity's side, and they have assisted that A site. And in fact, it looks like Def has backed his way all the way back to CT and is going to support back here as well, giving a little bit of extra aid to nothing on Ivy.
Yeah, it's all on this Ivy push now. Losing Man on Pop Dog early was definitely not what they wanted. Def looking for it. Nothing with the spray though through the smoke. Here's the footsteps. Knows to pull down the trigger and it works out, but Twist quickly through the back lines will equalize as we have 25 seconds to get that bomb planted. It's not going to be too easy here for Fnatic. They have to keep pushing forward. They must press on as Stanislaw holds the bomb train. The bomb is down at Ali, and there's nothing left for Brolan to do. Just trade it out here. Complexity with superior angles. Very well coordinated and very calm with that communication.
Yeah, I thought Brolan was actually able to get towards Old Hell and Olaf area unbeknownst to Complexity. I thought he was going to be the jack-in-the-box that came up and surprised him, but he was in fact just the last man standing. So all of his efforts never really developed for Fnatic. The time was starting to become a problem for Fnatic. Their hand was starting to become forced. So now that money finally has hit rock bottom for Fnatic. They're down to just some pistols, and it looks like they're going to try and take the easy road for a bomb plant down here on the lower site. Only one player to contend with right now at close range. They have been spotted, so the Molotov's going to, looks like, cut the head off the snake. Now they're just going to melt in this with the AUG there as well. Shazam at range was able to take the first, and JW salutes them and says, good job. I'm just going to kill myself in the Molotov and give you 100.
Things are actually going really well right now for Complexity. If we think about the success that Fnatic have had in their buy rounds, well, it's only really been one, and it was just a fast contact play into the B-bomb side. Otherwise, they've not really had much success. They won the pistol round, they won the full-up eco, and they won that fast contact play. Otherwise, Complexity have been showing that they are just generally stronger here on this CT side, looking like they can deal with pretty much anything. Crims, though,
this is big from Shazam. This is the first time we've seen some upper aggression right now. With lower attention drawn to ramp, Shazam has all day to line that shot up. Crims caught broadsided, and JW will fall as well.
It's looking very tight here so far for Complexity. Brolan will push forwards, but they know his position. He's over by Sandwich, they know that. He's very weak as well, and they lose Exist. Just a CT presence all over the place. Starting to encircle Fnatic as Brolan goes back, finds one. Even though he's on 14 HP, still makes it work, but still so much to be done.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about before. Brolan was able to get past Olaf towards Sandwich and into Old Hell without being known by Complexity. So this is what could have happened a couple rounds ago if the clock wasn't against Fnatic. Now they have that luxury. Just under a minute to go, though Brolan is walking wounded. He's about to get flanked on here. Def flirting with him. Has him locked up. It's going to be Twist left alone. 1v3, a tall ask, but he does have the bomb on his back and quite a bit of time to play with still. Complexity, they have a lot of information as to where he could possibly be. You see the position from Def all the way back beyond T-Con. But has he slipped under the wire?
Always a chance. Twist will find his first engagement perhaps, but Shazam playing it perfectly there. Oh, maybe not. Actually, his AWP is going to give his position away. And there it is, the plant, the 1 versus 2. The clutch is on now for Twist as he tries to find a way into the next engagement. He has to make it work, and he does, finding a very fast headshot onto Def. One more player to go. Stan, and he's going to go down. Twist, that is marvelous, and that's exactly what Fnatic were looking for.
1v3 clutch, and he wisely played that. I thought maybe he was going to push all the way into the B side after taking down the off in mid in Z connector, but instead he just backed up, dropped the smoke for the CT side of Old Bomb Train, and said, I'm gonna plant my flag here. I'm gonna win this 1v3 right now. So Fnatic steal a round away when Complexity thought they had that one in their grasp. Instead of being a 6-3, it's 5-4. Grenades are starting to airburst in T-Con, only doing some chip damage, but that should help out the single M4 for nothing. He's looking to get that one shot against JW, wielding the AK himself. There's only one scope on the field for Fnatic side. It is Brolin with the AUG, or sorry, Krieg, the T side of that flavor. And then Shazam's got himself the AWP as well. A lot of AUG still in play. Complexity have really been favoring that aspect of the arsenal.
I really like that floating smoke. I gotta say, that's kind of powerful for the CTs, but time is running out here for Fnatic. They want to try to make this work relatively quickly here. They've got enough utility to get the major choke points cut off most of these AWP angles as they move towards the bomb train, and they're going to start to toss in the grenades now as Shazam repositions, nothing goes forward, tries to get ahead of the push, he gets a 1-for-1, that's not too shabby, and Stanislaw has a forward position as well. This, again, is just going so well for Complexity.
The assistance from Complexity the whole way through is just too good. The positions, the backup, it's just JW left, and he is laid low. In T-Con, you saw all those positions where had assistance by a player over the shoulder. You had a player towards Sandwich being backed up by the player at the back green. Then you had a player that was giving some overall support across the Z connector. I assume that would be Shazam. And there was just everybody had crossfire set up all across that A site. There was almost nowhere left to go. It was slightly telegraphed by Fnatic coming into that site. There was a flashbang that came through the top side of the ladder out that window, and that preluded their entry by maybe 3 seconds. It wasn't much, but at this level of gameplay, that's all that's really needed.
And we're seeing just such a tight defense from Complexity. And I like that they sort of feel out the right risk to take there. You know, I think that nothing going forward into pop there, going for that 1-for-1, that's amazing. He's able to create a situation where he knows he's going to get hit by 2 sides at once, so just getting ahead of that and just guaranteeing a 1v1. It thins out the numbers, slows down the push, makes things awkward. Complexity just looking so fantastic, and that round, that amazing clutch from Twist, now it's starting to feel a little bit bad for Fnatic because of winning that round. Their loss bonus completely reset, and now they're in for really hard times.
That's true, but I mean, it's either feast or famine when you're T-side on Train. If you can get yourself 4 or 5 rounds on your T side, that's great. Whether those rounds come through pistol, whether those rounds come through 1v3 clutches, it doesn't really matter. Fnatic are already at that 4 mark, and we're only into the top of the 11th round. So, sure, there have been a couple rounds that did not go Fnatic's favor, and their economy gets reset here or there, but they're actually on quite a good pace to have a successful T side no matter how you look at it. This is going to hurt.
Oh my God.
Goodness. Here comes number 2. He's going to bank it off the side. Oh, it's all rifles, and then the P9.
Oh my
God. Dude,
God.
that nade came in. Their ears are ringing.
That's going to be like 360 damage or something.
Yeah, that was one nade.
I have like, I don't think I've... That's a lot, man.
I think that's the most. I think it's the most single
damage.
nade I've ever seen. That was all 5 players being dropped sub like 30-40.
God damn. You love to see it. You love to see it. Well, another save round coming in from Fnatic. As we mentioned, that reset, this really makes it so difficult. Quick pop flash there for Ricket. Ooh, it's not quite as smooth as he'd like. Only gets 1 out of it. And now they're all grouping up to try to get the frags.
They're all, I mean, everybody's side by side here. Nice shot. Shazam turns and is able to plug up the problem that he had over towards Olaf. And it was JW. So there should be an AUG around here somewhere. Unless they go, oh, there it is. The grenade actually blasted it back up towards Ivy, and the greedy hands, sticky fingers. Does he have enough for it? He does not. Brolin wanted that rifle so bad. Crims was there as well to at least get it, fall back, and reset was the idea for Fnatic there. But they'll be unsuccessful. They will draw no further blood against Complexity, and will head into the next round. That was getting uncomfortably close to nothing there.
Oh, and we're actually seeing the the JW sawn off. This seems to be something he would do all the time back in the old Fnatic days. Cobblestone was where he would make it work a lot. Had his moments on Train as well. Looking to see if he can do that again. As right now, Complexity, again, that CT side looks so good. And they've got 2 men on upper here. This is really cool. Perhaps predicting that Fnatic might go early with the default towards this upper position. And they do have the forward smoke to deny that. So they will retake this. That's good information seeking already from Complexity.
Still holding. Shazam will hold those upper box halls, removing a lot of the map problems for Complexity. They can, you see this shift. They have 4 players towards the A site right now, and that's a single Opera that's advanced on this B site that's holding all of this down. Andy's early warning system as well if they head this direction. There's the shoulder. He'll hit it, but he too takes damage himself. He'll start to fall back and call for some support. So that's going to be Stanislaw that goes through the Z connector and now gives aid.
Yeah, I think, you know, you hit the nail on the head there. The position was such that, you know, maybe he gets attacked, but he was likely hit through a wall, so at least he gets the information.
Sure.
And now we see that rotation back. That player that was cheated over, Stanislaw, back close range on B, and nothing gets a pick there. AWP's raining all over the place here now for Complexity as the push has to go in towards B, and Stanislaw, he will make himself known, and it is just too much.
Well played. Dude, it doesn't matter. Right now, I feel like Fnatic are starting to, they almost need a timeout. They need to say, okay, what do we need to do to approach one of these sites to be successful? Because they've been shut down on both A and B almost as convincingly both ways. So it doesn't matter who's anchoring what. It just seems to be just very heavily favored to Complexity no matter who's on what site. Of course, we see that they're changing their default nearly every round. And it really is throwing a wrench in the spanner for Fnatic. They're really struggling to compete against this.
It's definitely looking really difficult. The Complexity is just playing things so well. They're mixing up things in a really smart ways. You know, they're showing that they definitely have some routine on here. And so far, they've not really been out of their comfort zone. And if we, again, think about the round, you know, what are the rounds that Fnatic have won? And you get that pistol round, you get the follow-up round where you're playing anti-eco, and then you think about the buy rounds, and nothing really shouts or screams consistency. We're not seeing them consistently get into post plants. That's not really happening. Most of these rounds aren't really showing a bomb plant, and then you also have a situation where they're not getting a lot of map control. They're struggling to get players deep or out to E-Box, out to Hell, you know, from Olofmeister. I'm sure you can get into the Olofmeister position, but generally, like, and also Ali seems to be getting shut down pretty reliably by Shazam. He takes safe positions. He gets the smoke down at the last possible second pretty consistently. Everything's just tight. Yeah,
it probably feels this way for Fnatic that they're not playing against 5. It feels like they're playing against 6 because no matter which way Fnatic go, they're running into equal numbers. It's crazy. They're going to play fast again through T-Con all the way over towards the Olaf position. I believe that's Brolin. So again, he's able to sneak his way into this position under the radar of Complexity. But when does he erupt from this position? Can he surprise them? He's got this smoke that's at sandwich position, and when it soon fades, there's going to be a second volley of smokes that come in to let him advance even further. And yes, he does surprise Complexity. He'll take 2, turning for the 3rd as well. It looks like that smoke will at least protect the CT, but Ricky pushes through it, and now Complexity are going to have a retake. This is something that we haven't seen too much of.
Yeah, and Brolin, only guy with a weapon, and he's just made all the difference. Deft, though, with the boost over the top, finds a quick one, and that will allow Stan to get out there into the open. But so many targets, they're making it happen, though. One more to go. Stan can't quite find that kill, but he's alone now. No help for him. 3 more to go. It's such an ask, but he keeps finding them. They're giving him frags all over the place. There is one on the flank as well. Can Stan have the game sense to realize that he could be outplayed here? It is Twist just with the Eagles. I think he can make this happen, but no, Twist will find him. That was close. They managed to get 4 kills in quick succession there.
Brolin almost ends up with the ace right there. He has 4 kills, and it's just so good. It's so much like the round where they won with JW leading the way. The tip of the spear into the B site. This time, Brolin's the tip of the spear into the A site. Fnatic had recognized that there was a weakness. Complexity were slow to watch Z connector, depending on probably spawn for whoever it has been for Fnatic. But it seems consistent that Brolin's able to get back into that position easy. Without contest.
And a quick tag. There is a look to vie for control of Ali once again. Good nades coming in from either side, just trying to keep that very active. Just about finding Ricky. 1 HP for Twist.
Almost killed Twist. There's the lineup. Crims does go down. It's a 1-for-1. But Twist, just a stiff breeze, that's all that's needed to take him out of this game. And this is the last round of the half.
You can see nothing really adjusting, trying to control the sandwich position a bit better. It is very scary when the T's get out to Olaf wants to drop that smoke there. You never know if they can burst through. It's very hard to deal with. And nothing. Speaking of the devil, he shall appear, and he goes down, but the trade and return is so nice from Complexity. They're so active. And now Fnatic are just without options.
Now this smoke needs to be used, at least for JW, to get this bomb back. He knows that there's a player in Z, and I believe he definitely knows that there's a player at the bottom of the ladder. But without the bomb in hand, and as that smoke will fade soon, yeah, he uses this correctly. He needs to take as many 1v1s as Complexity are willing to give him. And that was the first, but he loses that one outright, and it's 10-5. So it ends up being a fairly vanilla first half for Train. Even though Fnatic got a couple rounds, really, they didn't deserve. There was the AK right there from Brolin that did so well, just one AK. And then there was just the AWP for JW in that one round. They won the pistols in there as well. So, I mean, they'll take whatever scraps that they'll get.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me as well because the play that Brolin made with that single AK, that was actually the way that they opened up a previous round, or tried to open up a previous round as well. And it was one of the ways that they were able to gain space the most effectively. And so, you know, Fnatic did have some stuff that worked, but it was a struggle. And Complexity, they're going to feel pretty good, you know, 10-5 half. And it wasn't just a 10-5 half. It's like the way that it was a 10-5 half. Everyone was fragging.
Yep.
The team play was coming together. They're definitely in the zone. But you can never rest on your laurels in a game of Counter-Strike. You switch sides, get onto that T side. It just takes losing the pistol. And the team that was struggling so hard in that first half can just get straight back into it, and especially a team that has the experience of these Fnatic players.
Right. So I think Complexity looked so good on that CT side, but they were just so accustomed to a slow advance from Fnatic. Like, they did really well against the slower executes from Fnatic, but they really struggled against the faster play. Even if that faster play was just some pistols and maybe a rifle or two, it just almost could have been so good. That is an interesting smoke. Is that does that bleed through the wall? No, that's just I think that's a flubbed smoke possibly.
Yeah,
unless I'm enlightened by that.
Yeah, you like missed the jump or something,
yeah.
But either way, Crims will not miss the heads. He finds 3. That is stunning from Crims. Can he find anything else? Of course he can. Quick reload, but he's done more than enough. That is some sexy Counter-Strike right there from Crims.
That's right. I only wonder where that smoke may have landed. That could have prevented all of that. But yes, Crims with the just pinpoint accuracy, popping domes. And that makes a very quick pistol round. So like what you're talking about, could just come down to the pistol plus a couple more, and suddenly Fnatic are right back into this game swinging.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see sort of the flow that Fnatic have on the CT side. I was really, again, very impressed with Complexity. They had these great tight setups, good coordination. They didn't go overly aggressive in any rounds, really. They kind of dotted that aggression in here and there in a way that makes sense. And it was fairly unpredictable, hard to read. And that really, I think, was difficult for Fnatic because it's kind of hard to know which angles which will be safe and which will be dangerous as they try to find those picks in the early round when they're running their defaults. So there's a lot for Fnatic to live up to on that CT side of theirs, but you know, historically, you know, they've always been a team that can be so dangerous on CT sides, and especially when it gets to that 3v3 in a mid-round scenario, that they become even more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of individual capability that is on Fnatic that if it does come to those 3v3s or 2v2s or whatever, that Fnatic might end up having the slight edge in that. We saw that 1v3 from Twist. There's multiple players on the side of Fnatic that were able to carry that first half. JW had a round credited to him. Brolin had a round credited to him. Twist had a round credited to him. And that was their T-side half. So that's tough. So now that Complexity is the pace-setting team on the T side, we'll get to see what happens, but without a bomb plant there and with a little bit of I think they choked on that first pistol round there. They had some smoke executions that they probably just need to iron out, make sure that everything's buttoned up. Just play clean Counter-Strike is all Complexity need to do right now.
I am curious what that T-side will look like. I'm very, very curious. You know, I talked about Stanislaw and his influence, his impact before, you know, on that old Optic lineup. They had this great style of play for a T-side train. It just worked really well, and I wonder, you know, Stan, if he's evolved a huge amount as an IGL, you know, if he's kind of gone away from that style and how methodical it used to be, and is a bit more brave with you know how he wants to approach things, and if that will work out against Fnatic or not. This is a journey discovery, I think, for all of us, but we definitely know that Complexity aren't a team to sleep on.
No, there's a lot of potential in there. When it comes to the T side, though, I believe it can be muted a little bit. We saw them wielding the double op with success on their CT side, but the double op for T side is not natural. But we'll end up seeing in a couple rounds from now how Complexity treat what their rifles and their firepower in the arsenal is going to be. But right now it's just some Glocks. A single P250, I believe, is mixed in there as well. A bomb plant would be a beautiful gift to them. And even if they're able to steal something away, that'd be awesome too. But those are all pipe dreams for Complexity. I don't see Fnatic really sleeping on the job that often to give Complexity that many chances.
And we're going to have to wait a little bit. This is the save here for Complexity, of course, and they can try to just make it really expensive, or as expensive as possible for Fnatic. You know, waiting, delaying, although it's not always the most sensational thing to watch, it does burn utility from the CT side, and that's economic damage that is important and can add up in the future rounds. One less smoke grenade or flashbang in the 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds from now can make the difference. So Complexity showing their focus, looking like they want to go for an explosion.
Well, without that utility from Fnatic you were talking about, they likely can get a bomb plant here. In fact, I feel Fnatic's probably playing that way intentionally, is just letting them get down there and let them plant the bomb. It'll cost them a couple bodies here or there, but we're not going to play at these point-blank angles and give up a rifle. You know, that's the chance that Complexity have. Easy bodies to be picked up as expected, but the bomb will be planted. Bodies were dropped, bomb will be defused. Complexity earned a little bit of extra bang for the buck, though. That was all that they had asked for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's one of those gentleman agreements almost, where it's like, you know what, we just don't want to risk losing any money. Right. And you can have an extra $800. We don't really care. It's fine. And it does make a lot of difference. You know, you can get all these grenades. You get the options for multiple AWPs. Although, as you said, you don't really want to go to that. But it's nice to have options.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you give the T's a plant, it's $800 per person. You get $4,000 for the team. So then you've got, if you lose one player on your team, I mean, you've lost an M4 or an AUG, plus the armor, plus the utility. It's way more expensive to even lose that one player. Just give them the bomb plant. No big deal. Fast play, though. Pushing into the A side. It is going to be Fnatic that at least blunt the tip of the spear. Molly's come in. That'll be blocking the back of the green train right now. The man advantage for Fnatic right now, but they're running out of room quickly. Crims climbs over the fire. He fights for more, but he does fall. That Molotov actually splitting the attack from Complexity, making things very difficult. Def and Nothing are the last men standing, making it Def all alone. The bomb in tow. He can actually fight right through this, but Exist will defend the Zeke connector. If he dies there, it is a straight beeline to the B site.
And Complexity probably feel like pretty unfortunate in that round. Just the timings were a little bit unlucky for them. You see, that pop push was really fast, and that's to credit to Fnatic. Obviously, they're playing a style where they had two players pretty pushed at that timing on inner to allow for that fast pop flank. But the timings were not perfect for Complexity, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board here. The eco half-buy will come out as we see some pistols, some grenades, and damage, bomb plant. Those are two objectives that can be realistic. We'll have to see, though, if they can find that. Nice catch by JW. Not easy to hit those, actually.
No, it's not. I mean, it's designed to hopefully get a headshot. I think that was actually Def's Deagle. So they were looking to get that Deagle to hit the shot against the one tap. Obviously, the P250 is not going to get the job done. But they get a little bit damaged, near 40 for JW. And one kill in the bag. So Fnatic, I was thinking they were a little bit top heavy on this round against the pistols. Having a double op, you could end up seeing a bomb plant, and if it ends up being a bloody one for Fnatic, it could end up with rifles stolen, and then the ops are having struggles to get into the retake. But they got that first kill. That should make things more of a window for Fnatic to paint this picture whichever way they please. Complexity, again, are just looking for any kind of bomb plant they can get.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult, though, I would imagine.
Yeah, this
is on that high ground. That's really worrying. Oh, he's actually dropped off. See if he can make this impossible. Ooh, Ricke's Surgeon. Rikke with that Deagle, cutting off Exist heads. And maybe there's a chance for some more damage. Look at this quick rotation back out. But Fnatic actually are prepared for this. They're like, okay, what's this delay?
Oh, dude, I mean, they took that hook, line, and sinker. Complexity with a heads-up play. It wasn't intended to be a fake. But once they got that first bang, it's a straight to the A site plant. They didn't recover any rifles out of this, but they've gotten a kill and then some. JW's get wounded. It's 1v2. Stanislaw with a P250 would love to be able to close the distance, and there's going to be an extra angle coming his direction. He pops off the first shot, sells his position at cameras, and will fall. And Fnatic have now drawn this within one.
That's a weird one as well for me because, we saw that on-the-fly fake, as you mentioned, coming in, and Fnatic were like, well, there's no bomb down, we've got 5 players left, so they rotated 2 back into the A site, and then for some reason pulled everyone back towards B again, although there wasn't really an argument yet.
Sure.
So I wouldn't imagine that someone would have called, bomb B, which would be the only reason to do that. So could have just been a bit of the chaos, and
that 1D. I mean, it makes your ears ring when you catch it, and it probably makes you make a bad call. But yeah, I can see that it wasn't quite committed. Complexity are like, you know what? The window of opportunity is open for us, and they exploited it. So now they've gotten themselves a couple bomb plants. Beautiful flashbang. Ricky was blind to the sun from that one. A second flash comes into T-Con, and they've got a player advancing all the way up, but counter flash back. Brolin will fall. He seems like on the T side, he owned everything across Olaf's side. JW will draw that line in the sand as well himself, earning back the man advantage for Fnatic.
And that's actually really dangerous, when you got a player like JW playing from Ivy with that AWP, and he doesn't have to worry about Ivy because there's no presence there whatsoever. He can just very freely add assistance towards those long channels as we saw towards Hell and Olafmeister and T-Con. Very dangerous. Nice angle from Exist. That's one to copy. Take to matchmaking as Twist goes forward. There doesn't seem to be too much left in the tank here for Complexity, just nothing by himself.
He drops the smoke. He'll try and maneuver his way. He's playing very quickly across this angle. Gets the shot, and he also spotted the player that was across Sandwich, I think. I'm pretty sure he saw some ankles, and he's going to start to move his way across. He wins the next fight as well. It's 1v1, but in the process of reloading, catches a pistol shot to the face, and it is 10-all. Very quick rounds are coming in, as opposed to what we saw in the first half, where the only success from Fnatic was these very fast plays. They play a lot of methodical, slow Counter-Strike. This time, when Complexity's on the T side, they're playing relatively rapidly. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of danger here for Fnatic to worry about. Their economy really being kept in check. They've got nothing left in the bank. If they lose this round, they are resets. Pistols for them. So you have to be very, very careful here, and that is by the nature of the fact that Complexity are hitting hard, even though they are losing some of these rounds. It's a very close game on our hands at this point, and you can see that pressure on Ivy. All you need is one player, and it just keeps JW just having to worry about it. So if his teammates do want to come out towards the outside, JW might not be able to assist so immediately, and that is pretty critical. But as I say that, it's a default here from Complexity, just gaining space on inner as well.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because last round Fnatic had put one player into the upper box halls advanced, and it's similar to how Complexity had played that. They put that off there from Shazam, and they moved everybody into the A site. This time though, Fnatic back off that just a shade. Crim's on the off angle for the upper box halls. That'll leave Exist down and lower into the site. And then the 3 remaining will go to the A site. But both teams are kind of scattered to the wind right now, looking to see if they can get any kind of pick play. There are plenty of scopes on the field. Everybody's just looking to see if they can get a nice circular object in the center of those scopes.
40 seconds to go, though, in Complexity. Their hand will be forced very soon, as they've just been sitting in this default. Look at this, nothing walking out of the smoke. This is massive. Gonna find a freebie. There's JW down, and now nothing looking to control the bomb train. The bomb is moving towards B. Nothing finds another one on rotation, and just like that, it's looking fantastic for Complexity as they rotate back to A.
That's a smart move too, because I thought Complexity was actually going to continue to just ball forward into the B site, which would have been a problem. You see both players are remaining on that B site, and then the way the clock was ticking down, it could have been bad. But nothing opening up that A site multiple ways really turned the tide. I feel like that was a fake from Complexity. Nothing was going to get those frags anyways, and it was probably going to pull a rotation from Fnatic to the A site. But he got those frags so freely that they said, you know what, let's just bring it back to the A site anyways. I just think that was a fake that ended up being so successful that they just shifted the tide.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really good for them. It's such an awesome play. You do leave yourself in this position where you have to take a gamble. You've played this really passive default, you're just holding position, waiting for the opposition to do something, looking for that hole. Still 5 CTs alive. It can be very hard at that point in time to find that hole. Sometimes impossible on train. But nothing, and he made the play, and he toppled the defense single-handedly. So credits to the stand-in. Nothing seems to do very well when he's standing into teams. I mean, when he was playing for Mousesports at Belo Horizonte, they got to the finals. Yeah. So, yeah, not a bad track record.
Well, this is a do-or-die situation. We got to remember that this is the losers for the bracket A, or not bracket A, of Group A rather. Sorry. If you lose this one, you're gone. If you win it, you have to play again tomorrow to close out the one of that last team that makes it out of Group A. So this is a 1-round lead for Complexity. Exist trying to contend against the head stack drop into the ladder. They hadn't seen that one yet, but he was ready for it. 4-on-4, that was traded evenly. You're going to have a flank coming quickly. JW is a surprise indeed, but he has so little to work with. It's a USP. He's got the headshot advancing forward. He's got the op. This is what he's comfortable with. He lines up a shot and fires a warning shot. The bomb is planted, and JW might even relocate himself right now. Just knowing that there's a presence Complexity have to worry about behind him, they have this sense of dread that they are surrounded.
This is one of the problems of having those AWPs. Giving away those AWPs to the CTs on this T side is very problematic, and it's a hard defense here as we see a lot of shots traded, and it's not looking amazing for Complexity. They're losing players. There's no kit, though, here for the CT. Actually, no, Twist has a kit, so maybe they want to try to go for this.
It'd have to be right now, and they're gone.
Yeah, that bomb's too ticked here. But the damage they've done, they've taken orbs away. This is a beautiful haul for Fnatic, but Complexity are 12-10, so they're still in the driving seat here.
Yeah, I would imagine both teams are fist bumping at the end of that round. That was successful both ways. Hey, look at that. Does that say JW? That's impressive. Big shout out to you guys in the crowd. I'll give you a thumbs up. 12-10. It's going to start to get thin ropes for Fnatic if they lose this round especially. Grenades come in. We've seen big grenades early, but Shazam quickly. A page out of JW's book. Even though more grenades come in, chipping him down. A missed shot from Shazam. Brolan will take that kill. It is traded back by Ricky as they start to contest over the Ivy side of things. The smoke will allow Complexity to fade back into CT spawn, it looks like. An interesting strategy, and as good as it's going to get, I think, for a 2v3.
And Stanislaw has to be careful now because he's got this big flank from Ricky, and you kind of want Ricky to be able to open things up. He gets that kill, huge distraction, especially if he's from a surprising position. And then that's when Stanislaw can get in there and do something. But Stan looks like he's maybe lining up a smoke here to help out Ricky on his flank. Maybe just actually, okay, no, not throwing anything. So
I think
has the opportunity to.
He may have snuck back here. Again, it's this whole match seems to be who has snuck where. JW did just make direct eye contact with Stanislaw, and that's going to be bomb. So it doesn't even matter now, the positioning from Ricky, because he was miles away from that one. And Fnatic were going to set up camp. 12-11. That round was very chaotic. There wasn't very much strategy involved in that one. Very puggy, sprinting into the sites, getting what kills you can. And Fnatic comes out on top. So,
again, things so close here between these two teams. It's really hard to know whether or not Complexity are going to be able to do this one. You know, Fnatic, as you said, you know, they've got enough rounds to be fairly comfortable if they get off to that good start. It's not been an amazing start, but again, they're just this team that are really scrappy. I think in that previous round, it was you know, we saw these engagements all across the map, and once again, and that's you know, train for you. You know, once you get out into the outer bomb side, it's almost like deathmatch at certain points. So many kills, so quickly, so many angles, a lot of repositioning. It's very chaotic, but Fnatic, a team that is able to very well harness that chaos, and they're bringing themselves back here. We can see that the money situation is not perfect for either team. Complexity having to go for a half buy here so they can buy in the following round. Fnatic should win this one and equalize, but if they take damage, they won't have a buffer of a buy.
Yeah, they won't have legs to stand on. It really is an important round for Fnatic not to drop the ball. It's going to be an absolute surge rush straight out of T-Con. They're getting sliced absolutely up. Though Brolan does die at the end of the day, one man down. Shazam will pick up a P250 off his teammate's corpse and look to do a little bit more damage. That bomb, though, was fumbled, and I doubt he'll be able to reach out and touch this one. Oh, but he reached out and touched his crims there.
And that was perfect. You know, lose one player, acceptable losses. Right. Once you start to lose two, it's getting a little bit uncomfortable, but they managed to avoid that. So absolutely worth it, and you know, moving forward, Fnatic will be pretty comfortable doing what they needed to do in that previous round, and a lot of pressure on Complexity on this one, because if they are unable to stop this momentum now that Fnatic are able to build, should they win this, I'm starting to favor Fnatic massively for this game of terrain.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's CT-sided map, and it really comes down to this rifle round. It has so much implication. Whether you're especially Complexity, if you lose this round, you're in deep trouble. There's the run boost all the way across and a quick shift of position. But Twist is the first casualty of war. That's over towards the B side. He's holding that angle, and they lose the second player as well. You could end up in a quick save call for Fnatic, but the problem is they've got players scattered across. If they were to fall back, they could run right into Complexity's rear flank.
Yeah, this is getting a bit weird because Fnatic might think, well, we'll save, but maybe they'll get a couple kills and think, wait, what is going on? There's one kill, and all of a sudden...
Now they got a chance, actually.
Bombs back to B, and that might shut things down here. There's just so much ground that Complexity are able to easily take here in a forward way. But that said, you know, they don't have much utility, and it doesn't seem like they are too interested in doing that. But the thing is that Fnatic don't know that. So Fnatic have to play on what they know at this point, and they're going to fall back. There's plenty of rounds to be played. Let's keep that economy intact.
Yeah, that got scary. Good round for Complexity, though. It just ended up being the entry frags into that B site, and picking off that first player just gave them a lot of confidence. I mean, sure, you picked off that first player. A lot of teams will just say, okay, very early on in the round, we've got a man advantage. Let's force them to shake in their boots. Let's force them to unsettle and make a mistake. Like what Mark had said earlier on the analyst desks, it really comes down to who makes the most mistakes. But Complexity, seeing that there was blood in the water, absolutely sunk their teeth in deeper, and they just took that B site, even though I don't even think that was part of their plan. I mean, you had players that were still up towards Ivy.
Well, it is going to be very interesting now to see what the T-side approach is going to be. Got those saved AWPs here from Fnatic, so you know Complexity know that those are in play. So do they go for a fast set piece? Do they speed up the pace? It looks like that might be the case here. Def is moving fast, pretty fast there into the T composition, throwing out that molly straight towards E-Box, I believe, and Complexity looking like they will just go for this split onto the A bomb site. Classic one. Let's see how well it works out.
Jumps across safely. JW drops a smoke. Still on the very, very shallow side of the Ivy, so it looks like both teams will maybe puff out their chest a little bit, throw a couple grenades at one another. Neither team can afford to liberally apply those grenades to the map. There's still a minute 15 on the clock. There's plenty of time to use those. And if you're Fnatic, you've got the problem of thinking of retakes. You want to be able to hold on to a lot of those mollies for time, and you have no smokes, if I'm not mistaken. Not one smoke on Broland. So when it comes to retakes, Fnatic could be in a world of hurt.
Oh, speaking of hurt, though, JW is down on the ground, and he's out for the count as Fnatic are down to 4 in this defense. Molly's sent down to pop, forces Crims back towards T-Con. He's in an awkward spot here. If they push T-Con, he could get sandwiched. 40 seconds to go to pump this bomb. Stan all the way at old bomb, and things are getting really weird here. And will take the kill, and things start to stabilize here for Fnatic.
I guess stabilize. You still have Complexity players that are scattered about. Close angle here, Exist pushed ahead, and suddenly what looked to be a good strong hold for Complexity into the sites is a 1v4 for Shazam with 23 seconds. He's got 3 left to go and 20 on the clock. Planting this bomb would be a pretty tall ask. He knows he's got players all around him. But again, like you had said before, his hand is going to be forced shortly. Looks like he's actually going to give the round up. But he gives his broadside up to Exist. He'll die before the clock expires, so at least he'll get himself some loss bonus, but he ends up losing the op anyways. It was a net loss, obviously so.
We haven't had any overtimes today, have we?
No, we've not. I don't even think we've been close.
Right, well...
I think the closest we saw was like 9-9.
Well, I think... I feel like this game has the makings for it. We'll have to see if that does come into fruition, but it is looking very close here. Fnatic looking to move strong onto 14, but we do have rifles out here for Complexity, not a lot of nades, so they may want to speed things up, but they're pretty spread out at this point. 2 players passive towards Ivy, a player towards Pop, top of the ladder, and actually they don't have anyone in T-Com right now, so they are actually playing a default, and there is only 1 smoke grenade. You've got 1 smoke grenade on Train. That's not a happy place to be in. Oh, that could have been a chance, but denied by Twist as AWP.
Yeah, he had the scope. Nice leg, too, for nothing. He'll be dropped down to 7. JW survives. It seems like he always trades just a couple hit points for a body or 2 over there. He's strong in that position. 13 all is the score right now in Complexity with that force buy on this round. They want to crack that egg at Fnatic, but it doesn't look like it's going to crack anytime soon. That money is weak, but right now this round is just looking too good. Complexity need 1 standout player.
So yeah, someone has to go off here. Someone has to find a chance. And Shazam, could he be that man? He's going to push his way forward. Gets good damage onto JW, looking for that push to come back in. Def now opening things up. They're getting a lot of ground and space. Need to get the frags though, and Crims will hold things down for the time by E-Box, and that might have delayed them a little bit too long here, and has indeed allowed Twist to get himself good position. Trades come in, but time starts to be a problem. Stan has to go for the bomb and find a way to get the plant, but utterly denied by JW, and that is 14 for Fnatic.
What a match we've got. So finally Fnatic are able to overcome Complexity and secure that lead. It's been a little bit back and forth. We saw the 10-5 half. Fnatic had a bit of a streak there to make that lead evaporate for Complexity, and then it started to teeter-totter. But it does seem like Fnatic now have the reins. And Complexity are going to have to make these decisions. Well, do we give them the overtime round, save a little bit of cash so that we can get a chance? You need to be able to win consecutive rounds at this point, no matter what, for Complexity. But if you try and jump the shark now, I mean, can you get it done with pistol armor, maybe a single AK or two, the way that Fnatic were able to do it in the first half?
That is the question. Complexity, there's a lot to answer for at this point. And it's going to be interesting to see where they can make the difference. One thing that's cool about this Complexity team is that, and I think one thing that Nothing always adds as well to any team that he's on is communication.
Yeah.
It always has communication. I like that Ricky has actually found himself on this Complexity lineup as well, because for a long time Ricky, very, very vocal player, couldn't quite find the right team where that would really gel. And I think this is one of those teams, and so it can really help in moments like this, having players who are pumped, who can get everyone hyped up, can make sure that everyone still believes, and they're going to go for a throwaway round here. They're going to give up match points so they can have a good buy. That's how it's going to go, and Exist gets himself a nice little highlights, but it will all be over. 15 for Fnatic. Complexity, they have decided to go for this. They've decided to give this situation to Fnatic.
Yeah, they need 2 rounds in a row for themselves. And yes, they gave that throwaway round. They bought 1 smoke, just looking to even just get across the top of that ramp. And Exist spammed out so many bullets that they had 2 players that died, and the 3 that survived said, you know what, let's turn around. I mean, he's going to be running out of ammo here shortly. So Fnatic on the precipice of victory. What can they get done with double op, an AUG, and 2 M4s? A lot of flashbangs traded back and forth over towards Ivy, but this is going to be the real friction. Crims goes down first. Fnatic with some early aggression, kind of get some of those early rounds on their CT side, early strategies that they had before, not working this time.
Yeah, going for that aggression, wanting to get ahead of whatever Complexity had planned, but it has indeed backfired. Complexity have a lot of time to play with as well, so they're slowing things down, perhaps expecting or trying to be safe against any aggressions, which could be a response to losing a man early from Fnatic's side. But Fnatic do have 2 AWPs, which can really make up for losing a player. It allows you to cover a lot of ground pretty effectively, and that is something you're lacking when you do lose a man. So it's not all lost in that sense, but Complexity, they've got to make a decision at some point here. Do they want to go into B? Well, they do have a lurker set up towards Ivy, so they are rotating Stanislaw around now. When you join the push?
Well, we've seen this strategy so many times from Complexity. This is where Nothing comes in, gets 2 kills, and the fake is intended to go towards the B site, but instead, what happens? They actually jump the gun before Nothing has anything. He's actually going to come in on that late lurk you were talking about, jumps across the smoke. I think Twist may have spotted him, gets the shot on the repeak. 2v2 right now, but here's the flank from downtown. Nothing gets the kill. It's all up to JW now to try and stop it. 1v2. The bomb is recovered. 18 seconds left. He fires one, but it goes high. The Molotov will force him to the upper halls, and they'll be staring him down, planting for the safe side of the bomb train. The flash comes down, and Nothing secures the round on that late flank. 14-15. We're going the distance to the end of regulation on 30.
Oh my god, that was a close one. That was a close one. Complexity. It looked so perfect, and then Brolan, he finds those 2 quick kills with the AUG. Very unexpected for pretty much everybody.
I mean, everybody's heart stopped when JW turned around and looked at Nothing, and then doing scope, and then had it felt like an eternity staring down at Nothing. That was a long fight that Nothing just barely successfully won.
And that flank timing, you know, as mentioned, you know, it has to come in at the perfect moment, and that was just the last moment possible. This will make it really all come together. So the plan worked out, at least. You know, as you mentioned, you know, we had that situation where they gave up match points so they could have 2 chances, or well, they would have to make 2 chances work, and they made the first one work, and now it's down to finishing the job and securing overtime. There is still a long road ahead, and Fnatic, they just need that one. Can this be that one? Because their buy is not perfect, but it's still pretty respectable.
It's not bad. They've got the smokes, so they can look to deny this. Man, Fnatic heavily favored on this one. So almost 6-fold. Here comes the utility dumped out by Complexity. It's relatively early in the round, but they already have Def making his way past Olaf. 2 players, though, by Old Hell. This is going to be... Oh, I say it's just 1. The other one's all the way towards Ivy. So it's 1v1, but he doesn't check the corner. Twist was hanging out on a very wide angle right there, surprisingly so. Yeah, it is traded.
It's such a strong position. It's like just deals with that exact player pushing that exact spot. It's so strong, that off angle from Twist. And look at what it's done for them. Despite getting traded out here, they have prevented Complexity from pushing forwards, and now JW makes it worse, picks off another.
Well, Ricky picks up that AK, and they start to double back. They do not want to challenge JW, who they know is over there. Stanislaw is jumping around, trying to peek for some information. If he could spot Crim's shoelaces down there, and yes, he does send Galil rounds down there, and even if they were on target, it wouldn't be all that important. Do they go for the head stack here? I mean, it is challenging. They don't know what weapons down here. It's an MP9, so it's not all that easy to win that fight, but Crims does take them both. Ricky alone, 1v4, bomb in play, but everybody is starting to circle the drain around him. Ricky not even willing to unscope, takes one to the face. Exist comes up from underneath, and that's going to be the end of it as they take it 16-14. You're right. Complexity needed to take that runner. They just couldn't quite get it done.
So close, but so far. That's so sad, isn't it?